Right then, we're going to talk about a really forgotten conflict now in Sudan because talks are being held in Geneva to negotiate a ceasefire. It would bring to an end a 15-month conflict between the Sudanese armed forces and the paramilitary Rapid Support Forces. The negotiations come as the UN warns of Sudan reaching breaking point. The situation has been described as a humanitarian disaster. Well, let's talk to the former ambassador to Sudan, Sir Nick Kay. He's now a senior advisor on the Sudan Crisis Management Initiative at the Marty Adasari Peace Foundation. Nick, there will be a lot of people unfamiliar with this conflict. Just briefly, could you tell us what is behind it?
Thank you, Peter, and thank you for drawing attention to this, as you describe, a forgotten conflict. I mean, I'm not sure it's forgotten. It is certainly neglected and badly so. What's lying behind this is a struggle between two military forces for control of the country, and behind that is natural resources, the gold and the wealth of Sudan. They are contesting for power, but behind that is also, decades of misrule in Sudan, a military dictatorship for nearly 20 years under General Bashir, and no democratic governance. And therefore, a lot of people in Sudan have felt marginalized, excluded, especially those who are living in Darfur and other different parts of Sudan that are far from the capital, Khartoum. So a lot of the troubles of the past are coming home to roost, but essentially it's the power struggle between two generals with external backers. And I think that's the important thing in this as well. This war is continuing because they are continuing to receive support from outside Sudan.
Why are the peace negotiations taking place in Geneva, and what hopes do you have for them succeeding?
They're taking place in Geneva because the US has slightly belatedly, but in a very welcome way, decided to focus some diplomatic firepower on this conflict. And they've convened the parties in Geneva. I think choice of Geneva, it's a fairly neutral venue. It's obviously the home of humanitarian organizations and the UN humanitarian system as well. So I think it's to link to the fact that the immediate priority is to stop the fighting, allow full humanitarian access, and to put in place a sort of monitored and verified ceasefire. So Geneva is a good place for that to happen. Unfortunately, though, today the talks have started with only one of the warring parties attending.
And why is the other warring party not attending?
The Sudanese armed forces side, they are, if you like, the rump of the previous government. They're now located not in the capital because that's a war zone. They're located in Port Sudan on the Red Sea. The Sudanese armed forces have refused to take part at the moment. They claim that they should be treated as the government of Sudan and given that status rather than just one of the belligerents. They also object to the presence in Geneva of the United Arab Emirates as an observer of this process, because they claim the United Arab Emirates is supporting the Rapid Support Forces on the other side. Those are the sort of reasons they give. My reading of it is that actually they don't want to go because they're militarily in a weak position at the moment, and they think that if they get into a stronger military position, they'll be in a stronger position for negotiating. But that way, I'm afraid, madness lies.
Sir Nick Kay, former UK ambassador to Sudan, now a senior advisor on Sudan CMI at the Marty Adasari Peace Foundation. Thank you for joining us on Times Radio. Marty Adasari, of course, a great man of peace himself, the Finnish politician who played a key role in Northern Ireland.
Okay, good.
Right.
Yeah.
Va?
Okay.
You can take it.
Like this? No. Oh, yes, this one. Yes.